The Last Patrol, Chapter 19, Bodenheimer and Bacon. It's been a couple hours since the torpedo incident, now coming on noon. Ezekiel Bodenheimer, Francis Bacon, Boot Camp, Marchione, and Lady stand on deck, idling. The five drink coffee and smoke cigarettes, nursing hangovers, their only souvenir from a long night of partying. Chief Cromwell, the chief mechanic, had assigned them to clear rust spots over an hour ago, but they linger. Ugh, moans Bodenheimer, a pain grimace stretched across his face. He squeezes his temples between the thumb and middle finger of his left hand. Mocks Bacon. You sound like your buddy Frankenstein. Shut up. You shut up. You've been saying that all morning. Quick, someone get him a gun so he can end his misery. I've had it up to here with all that moaning. Bacon raises a hand flat over his head to show how high. Bodenheimer swats down Bacon's hand. You should end it all, you pig. I'm not the swine who bought a hooker last night. Oh, yeah? At least I didn't get in a fight. You fight so much every MP on the island carries your picture in their front pocket. Bodenheimer leers at Bacon, shaking his head to fling off irritation, but this only shoots pain through his jaw. He rocks his lower jaw left to right, checking it. It hurts, and he feels a clicking like a bone is catching, the effect of too many left hooks and right crosses last night. He glances at Bacon, who's nodding with a smug grin, arms folded. He's enjoying watching me suffer. He throws Bacon a dirty look. Marchione, a well-mannered Italian kid, always looking to please, reaches into his back pocket, pulls out a silver flask full of whiskey. Got just the thing to fix you up. He twists off the cap and pours some into Bodenheimer's coffee. Thanks, Mac. Bodenheimer takes a sip. Oh, yeah, that's it. Tropical coffee, the stuff of paradise. He looks at Marchione and through the rumbling din of his headache forces a thin smile of gratitude. Marchione smiles back. Hits the spot, doesn't it? Yup, helps with the headache. Now, if you only had something to stop the double vision. When I look at Bacon here, I see one super wide comb-over spread across two fat heads. Bacon throws a sneer back at Bodenheimer. Bodenheimer laughs under his breath. It's been like ping-pong this morning with all the dirty looks being bounced back and forth. Lady stares at Marchione, returning the flask to his pocket. You better not let Chief Cromwell catch you with that. It's not Cromwell I got to worry about. It's Akachita. Why is that? Asked Boot Camp, the pimply-faced youngster. Because Akachita don't mess around, says Bacon. Boot Camp tilts his head to the side with a perplexed look. What do you mean? He means Akachita expedites punishment. Bodenheimer punches Boot Camp on the arm. Ow! Boot Camp rubs a sore spot in his arm. What does that mean? Bacon huffs. It means, Pinhead, Akachita won't write you up or take away your liberty or wait around for Captain's Mass. Yeah, cuts in Lady. He'll beat you down for real. You mean? Boot Camp lifts his fist like a boxer. That's right, nods Bacon. Akachita will tune you up, and he can do it, and no one's going to stop him, not even the captain. Bodenheimer grins. I think the skipper kind of likes that old school stuff. Look who's talking, snickers Bacon. Jiminy Cricket, says Boot Camp. I'm glad I didn't get so drunk. Not like Bodie anyways. Watch it, Boot, snaps Bodenheimer. Don't take the Lord's name in vain. God will not be mocked. What? Again, they look at confusion on Boot Camp's face. Forget about it, scoffs Bodenheimer. He turns to throw Boot Camp in a Nor look, which causes another twinge of pain to shoot through his head. Ugh. He grips his temples. Bacon turns to Boot Camp. Better watch what you say to your superiors. Superiors? Yeah, that's right. Before the war, Buddy was a genuine celebrity. He's a world-class downhill skier. Also got a degree in physics from MIT. You see, Bodie's one of them sophisticated, abstract thinkers. Bodenheimer feels an upwelling of nausea build like a wave inside his gut. He rushes to the edge of the deck and bends forward to puke over the side. Bacon grins. See what I tell you? Watch this abstraction when it floats in the water. All the pretty color. All the colorful chunks like modern art. Here it comes, Old Faithful. His eyes glow with anticipation. Bodenheimer heaves, but it's dry. He heaves several more times until the feeling subsides. Then he burps. Oh, false alarm, grumbles Bacon. Too bad, no show today. Yeah, says Bodenheimer, wiping spittle from his mouth with his sleeve. Through squinted eyes, he glares at Boot Camp, pain throbbing in his head. Francis Bacon here says I'm abstract. Maybe, but he's as literal-minded as you get, though he fancies himself scientific. Bodenheimer smirks and huffs a sarcastic laugh. Boot Camp looks bewildered. He doesn't appear to be following any of this, so he changes topics. Boy, that was a close call with Billy this morning. Yep, says Bodenheimer. Does that happen a lot? Asks Boot Camp. Nah, says Bacon. Only when Ensign Waters has a watch, cuts in Bodie. Chief Cromwell emerges from the forward deck hatch and stomps towards him. Hey, what are you guys still lollygagging around for? I gave your assignment over an hour ago. What do I have to do, draw you a picture? Bodenheimer nods. Yeah, Chief, that would help. It sure would, says Bacon. You know, standing rust spots is pretty complicated stuff. We could use a diagram of some sort. Tell you what, I'll get a pencil and paper. He starts to walk off. I'll be right back. As Bacon strolls past, Cromwell grabs him by the bicep. Hold on, wise guy. This has to get done before we get underway. So, you get all the day and all the night to get it done, but it's going to get done. Lady steps forward. Don't you worry, Chief. We're just, how you say, catching our wind. Cromwell squints incredulous eyes. Catching your wind? What do you mean catching your wind? You haven't done anything to lose your wind. Bodie has, laughs Bacon. He lets loose his wind all the time. To demonstrate, Bodie pinches his nose shut with one hand while fanning the air behind his butt with the other. Marchionne puts a hand on Cromwell's shoulder. What he means, Chief, is that we're just getting ourselves all revved up. Cromwell swats Marchionne's hand off his shoulder. All right, if none of you funny boys are willing to step up and take the lead, I'm going to teach Seaman Martin here so he can lead the way for you slackers. He motions boot camp over. See all these rust spots circling with chalk? Sure, Chief. That's your assignment. Cromwell points at a circled rust spot. You got to get every single one done. First, you scrape the loose rust. Then you hit it with a grinder till you see bright metal. Next, you prime it. Only then you paint. It doesn't do any good to paint over rust because it'll only continue to rust under the paint. And then paint chips off. Got it? Yeah, Chief, no sweat. All right, get started. I'll be back to check on you. Cromwell starts to walk off, then stops in front of Bodenheimer and examines his left eye. Hey, nice shiner, Bodie. Too bad you can't mount that on a plaque. You'd have a whole gallery full of trophies. Shh. Bodenheimer sneers and looks away. Smart ass. Cromwell chuckles like suppressed machine gun fire and then walks back to the deck hatch. Boot camp slides the tips of his fingers into his front pants pockets to the second knuckle, hunches his shoulder, then, chin down, turns timidly towards the others. Well, what do you say, fellas? Let's get started. Don't get all excited, snaps Bacon. Yeah, don't get your panties in a bunch, says Bodenheimer. We're not stupid. We know what needs to be done, and we'll get it done. That's right. Don't let Cromwell pressure you, says Bacon. We pressure ourselves, know what I mean? Boot camp shakes his head. No, not really. Cripes. Bacon throws up his arms. You don't get much, do you, Boot? A bona fide lame brain, says Bodenheimer. Golly, fellas, I'm the new guy. Give me a break. Break, responds both Bodenheimer and Bacon in unison. See that? Boot camp waves a finger. That's another thing I don't understand. Bodenheimer glowers at Boot camp. What? You two. Boot camp points at Bacon at Bodenheimer with two spread fingers on his right hand. Bacon leers at Boot camp through suspicious eyes. What are you trying to say? Nothing. I just mean you guys. Like, you finish each other's sentences. So, says Bodenheimer, you also tag team whenever you talk to anyone. And I never see you guys alone. I never see you apart. You're like Mutt and Jeff. No, Lady grins. More like Abbott and Costello. Or Cain and Abel, asks Marchionne. No, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, says Lady. Marchionne nods. Aren't we all, though? I mean, there's a little good and evil in all of us, and a lot more evil than we like to admit. Bacon turns fully toward him. Give it a break, Mac. Don't get all preachy on us. I'm not getting preachy, just stating a fact. If Boot camp looks up and touches fingertips to his lips. If they're Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, which one's which? Don't you worry, Boot. Marchionne puts a hand on Boot camp's shoulder. You'll know soon enough. Actually, Boot camp cuts in, Lady. They're more like Barnum and Bailey. You know, they both circus clowns. Shh. Bacon sneers. Cut with the wisecracks. Let's get to work. Yeah, says Bodenheimer. Let's go hard and get it done so fast Cromwell won't know what to make of it. That's right. We'll get his head to spin, says Bacon. Can't make it spin until you loosen the bolts, jokes Bodenheimer. Boot camp's eyebrows pull down in the middle. Bolts? Yeah, you know the bolts in his neck, says Marchionne. What do you mean the bolts in his neck? Bodenheimer sighs and looks at him sideways. Come on, Boot. What's Cromwell's nickname? Boot camp's eyes snap wide open. Oh, so that's why you call him Frankenstein. No, you idiot. See any real bloats? Bodenheimer shakes his head. Incredible. Boot camp frowns. Then why? 'Cause, says Bacon, no matter how busted up or broken machine, he'll put it back together, bring it back to life. He'll make it work. Get it? He's Dr. Frankenstein. No, he's not, says Bodenheimer. He's Frankenstein, all right. Just look at him. You're right, says Boot camp wide-eyed. The way he walks, barely bending his knees. His black hair, the bowl haircut, the flat head. He does look like Frankenstein. Lady grins. Got a face only a mother could love. Are you kidding? Bodenheimer puckers his face like sucking on sour lemon drops. What mother can love that? Chapter 20, Same Old Speech. Today is their day to get underway. Crewmen dressed in summer white uniforms gather on Tang's deck, waiting for the captain. They loiter, looking bored. So many times they perform this routine, it's now mundane, almost tedious. Still, for a submarine crew during time of war, getting underway always means going into harm's way. Family and friends line the dock, waving goodbyes, offering encouragements, and looking more concerned than the crew. In a way, they're really trying to encourage themselves to steady their own apprehensions and fears for their loved ones. Ernestine O'Kane, 8 months pregnant, stands prominent in the crowd. She grimaces as she arches her back to lift the additional weight in her belly. With her right hand on the small of her back, fingers pointing toward her spine, she pushes forward to relieve the strain, a testament to the fact that labor begins long before childbirth. At her side stands Emily, the little girl, dressed in a white outfit, matching hat and dress, trimmed with navy blue borders and a scarf around her neck. Reaching up an arm, she clings to her mother. On her face hangs a frown, replete with sad eyes and tears running down. Aristotle saunters over to Bodenheimer, the street-tough intellectual. "That was nice of Mac giving you a swig from his private stock." Bodenheimer snorts a sarcastic laugh. Aristotle leers at him. "What, you ungrateful?" "No." "Then what?" Bodenheimer turns to Aristotle. "It's not what he does, it's why he does it." "Oh," says Aristotle, tilting back his head. "I see where this is going. We're going to get all Bodie complex again. Listen, I like Mac. Nice guy and all, but he's a pleaser. So, it's better than being a jerk. Yeah, but not by much." "Shh," Aristotle shakes his head. "You're impossible. What do you expect? Perfection?" "Nope, just a little sincerity." "He's sincere as any." Bodenheimer smirks. "Come on, are people really sincere? Are you?" "I don't know. Maybe not. But I'm trying to figure that out." Aristotle squints at Bodie. "What do you mean? What's the motive of a pleaser? Is it really to help you or to help themselves?" "I get that," says Aristotle. "Pleasers just want people to like them. We all do things for ourselves." "That's right, and that's a problem. We're all self-serving, but I'm looking for something genuine. In others? Sure, why not? But first in myself." Aristotle lifts an ironic grin. "You might as well be a leprechaun looking for a lost pot of gold." "Nah, I know where to find it." Bodie points skyward, then taps fingers atop his chest. "I just haven't got there yet." Bodie catches sight of Lady standing on the pierside edge of the deck and taps Bacon on the arm. "Hey, check out Lady, displaying himself like a runway model on one of those swanky fashion shows." "Yeah," Bacon smirks. "Hey, look, he's pointing at someone. She's waving back. It's that girl from the club. Damn, she's good looking." "Well, at least there's one thing Lady's good at, getting the girls." "She's gorgeous," mouth agape, Bacon oogles her. "I think I'm in love." Bodie laughs. "It's not love, Pig Knuckles. It's lust." "No, it's love, I tell you. Look at her. That dark brown hair, long and flowing, wrapped over her shoulder. Look at that lithe white dress, swaying in the breeze. Check out the way the sun bathes her from behind, filtered through her skirt to paint an eerie silhouette of her lovely figure." He puts a hand atop his heart and tilts back his head. "Oh, I'm in love." "No, it's lust, bonehead. There's nothing to it, and it won't last." Bodie watches as Lady puckers his lips to pump out a kiss toward the girl. The air kiss resonates out like shock waves, and a half-dozen girls swoon, causing Bodie to squint. "You've got to be kidding," he yells. "Hey, Lady, give me libertine or give me death, huh?" Calvary, the corpulent sodaman, elbows Boot Camp beside him. "Did you see that? What did I tell you?" "Yeah," exclaims Boot Camp wide-eyed. "It's amazing. It's like he's got superhero powers. Like he's Flash Gordon or Green Lantern." "Kids and comic books," scowls Bacon. "If he's our future, God help us all." O'Kane emerges from the bridge hatch. He exits the dry cool of the air-conditioned conning tower, and a wave of tropical heat rolls over him. Bodenheimer elbows Bacon. "Here it comes." "Yup," grumbles Bacon. "Same old speech." "How many times for you?" says Aristotle to Bacon. "This'll be my fifth." Paul orders, "Form up." The sailors saunter into formation. When all are in position, Paul commands, "Tang, a 10, hut." The crewmen snap to attention. O'Kane climbs briskly down the ladder from the bridge. He reaches the deck, turns to see the smart line of uniformed sailors, and thinks, "Kick-off time." He walks to Paul. When O'Kane is before him, Paul salutes smartly. "USS Tang, formed and ready for inspection, sir." O'Kane returns the salute. "Very well." He moves to the head of the formation, walks down the line of sailors, inspecting nothing, only looking intensely into their eyes, with a thin smile that's both kind and confident. Reaching the end of the line, he snaps around, walks to front and center, then pivots a turn to face his men. "At ease." Crewmen stand relaxed with information. "For all the plank owners on board, you've heard this before. It doesn't hurt to hear it again. For all the new replacements, I want you to take this to heart, so listen up. Taking an initiative. It means many things. Taking an initiative is about being bold in action. It's about putting the enemy on the defensive, forcing them to be reactive. But it also means keeping your head out of the sand. It's about thinking independently and creatively. Just because a thing is done a certain way, maybe forever, doesn't make it right. Never settle for the routine, the customary, the conventional. Instead, do the opposite. Be creative. Always ask yourself, how can we do this better? How can we do this more efficiently, more effectively? And I want everyone on board, from myself on down to the most junior man, to be thinking tactically, not only in the heat of battle, but all of the time, for we may be engaged by the enemy at any moment. So, whether on the hunt for targets, conducting an attack, evading something, depth charging, or simply transiting to or from our patrol sector, I want everyone to have the tactical picture in mind, because it can give you the edge for taking the proper action when the bullets start to fly. He pauses. And I want everyone covering each other's backs. I'll use flyboys as an example. Fighter pilots fly in what's called the finger four. The idea is overlapping layers of protection. There are two elements, each of two planes. The lead element has its back protected by the other element, and in each element there's a shooter and his wingman. The reason for this is target fixation. For example, when the shooter's trying to line up a target in his gun sight, he's totally focused on that sole function, leaving him entirely vulnerable to attack from all other sides. That's what his wingman's for, to keep the enemy off the shooter's 6 o'clock. Now, the same applies during a torpedo attack. When prosecuting an attack, we in the conning tower have target fixation. There may be 100 other things that need to be done, some critical, but with target fixation, there's a good chance they'll escape our minds. Still, they have to be done. That's where initiative comes in. But there's a fine line to be played here. In a life or death emergency, you may have to take immediate action. In such a case, do what you think necessary as you report it. If it is wrong in the big picture, we can countermand it. If it's not an emergency, simply request permission before doing it. The key is, I want everyone thinking. No man should sit on his ass waiting to be told. Every one of you can and must be proactive. We'll do our best to anticipate scenarios and pre-plan for them. And I want everything choreographed. For example, when attacked in shallow water, as soon as we pull the plug, I want sonar to automatically get off a ping for a depth sounding. Not only is that time critical, it's one less thing we have to think about in the heat of battle. You see, that's what we do in the wardroom. We're constantly running through scenarios, and everyone's an equal there. Everyone has a say. Here's another thing. I call it the view from the trenches. The idea is, no one's going to have a better appreciation for the details of the job other than the troop in the trench. In other words, while we've got the big picture, you're the ones with the greatest knowledge and insight into what you do. You know your job better than any of the officers because you live and breathe it. It's our responsibility to weave all your expertise into an effective whole. He points at the officers. And while it may be that one of us may figure a better way of doing any one of your jobs, chances are innovation will come from those who do it day in and day out, which is you. If you have an innovative idea, pass it up the chain. There's open lines of communication on Tang. It's a priority. You will be recognized for good, innovative thought. And no one in that chain will steal credit for a good idea. If anyone does, I'll guarantee he wish he did it. Lastly, team. Team is everything. We succeed and live as a team. As individuals, we fail and die. When I think of the concept of team, I think of the term gung-ho. Most of you probably heard it. It's been made popular by the Marine Raiders. Jeers and whistles break out. Aristotle whispers to Bodenhammer, well, this is new. Okay, and holds up a hand to settle raucous sailors. Inter-service rivalry aside, the concept is good. So, gung-ho, what does it mean? Anyone. He sweeps his arm across the formation to urge an answer. It means go all out, sir, says Burke, the linebacker from UCLA. It means kill the Jap pig, yells Bacon. Bodenhammer raises a fist. It means go for broke. Enthusiasm, good. That is the popular conception, the popular notion, but it doesn't mean that at all. It means work together. It means work in harmony. Through working together, we can do exceptional things. Working in isolation or against each other, we can do far more damage than good. O'Kane pumps an emphatic fist and says forcefully, there'll be no prima donnas on this boat. There'll be no hotshots or superstars. That's all self, and it'll bring us down. You want to be great? He points a finger at the first man in the formation and sweeps it across the rest. Then sacrifice the greatest. The greatest among you is the humblest. The greatest among you is the greatest servant. Question is, how can you best serve? O'Kane pauses as if waiting for an answer, but it's rhetorical. By building each other up in whatever way you can. Start there. With intense eyes, O'Kane scans those of his sailors, laying on them a personal, palpable touch in order to burn these concepts into their hearts. That is all. Set the sea and anchor detail. Set the underway watch. Make all preparations to get underway. It's time to do our duty, gentlemen. He turns and walks to the bridge. Paul's voice booms out. Tang! Hut! Crewmen snap to attention. Halfway to the bridge, O'Kane looks at the crowd, lifts 2 fingers to the lips, and blows a kiss. A glow lights upon Ernestine's face as her cheeks lift in a smile. But then he notices something else. It's in her eyes, a bit beyond concern. That's urgency. At her side, Emily hugs her mother's leg, tears streaming down her cheeks. With sad eyes and a frown, she mumbles, Daddy, Daddy, Daddy. Paul holds the crew at attention until O'Kane disappears down the bridge hatch, then orders, Fall out! Those with the first watch head toward hatches to change to dungarees. Others stay topside to wave goodbyes. Everyone knows this could be the last goodbye, but no one really believes it. It's always the other guy who gets it. Chapter 21, Metaphysical Mumbo-Jumbo. Looking like a preacher at a pulpit, O'Kane stands on the bridge, hands resting on the pierside rail. Peering down from this perch, he sees all deck stations manned and ready. Then he turns his wrist to check his watch. It's time, he shouts. Signal up all lines. Let go of the spring lines. Cast off the stern lines. Deckhands released all lines except for the bow line. Take it straight on the bow line. Starboard engines ahead 1/3, port engines back 1/3. A wash of water churns on either side of Tang, causing the briny scent of seawater to simmer into the air. O'Kane catches a whiff. There it is. He's all too familiar with it. After 10 war patrols, it is for him the smell of going to war. Like an immense elephant stirring from its slumber, Tang begins to move, causing the bow line to snap taut. As the pull on the line increases, the agonizing sounds of rope stretched under great force sing out. The creaks and groans emanating from the hemp are like the sound of torture, and they recall to O'Kane stories of overtensioned lines snapping, whipping back to slice off the legs of deckhands. The twisting force generated by propellers pushing in opposite directions causes Tang to rotate up about the bow until a 30-degree angle separates the hull from the wharf. All engines stop. The wash of water subsides. Take it in the bow line. Sailors yank it in, fist over fist. O'Kane looks aft to ensure the way is clear, then orders, all engines back 1/3, left 10 degrees rudder. Again the propellers churn, and Tang pulls backward while the bow swings away from the pier. O'Kane hits the diving alarm and holds it for a 5-second blast. Ooga! Tang is officially underway. And far enough from the wharf, O'Kane orders, all engines stop, all engines ahead 1/3, shift to rudder. The boat stops and starts forward, turning to the right, further from the pier. Rudder midships. With that, Tang journeys into battle. With a rumbling hum of engines and the scent of diesel exhaust, the gray-black boat glides along at a 1/3 bell, transiting through the narrow channel of the harbor. As they reach Iroquois Point and exit the enclosed confines of the waterway, the vast expanse of the Pacific Ocean opens up before them like parting curtains on a stage. A flock of albatross take up a trail, flying above the stern. They float, then dive, then swoop, then climb again, only to do it over and over in a repeating cycle. Even within the helter-skelter flurry of all this motion, there would appear to be an order and a meaning, perhaps even a harmony of purpose, but ultimately it's only futile. It's just birds mindlessly keeping busy. Bodenheimer, Bacon, and Aristotle are last to remain on deck, savoring the last glimpse of tropical paradise. Looking back from the open water, the steep, rugged mountains seem to rise straight from the ocean's edge. Painted over the mountains is a lush dark green, a thickly woven foliage, which, like a tent, steals the light from all the creatures and murmur in the dim obscurity beneath the forest canopy. Bacon, the worldly one, though marred in superstition, turns back for one more look. Oh, would you look at that? Damn, that's a bad sign. What? Dubious, Bodenheimer turns back to look. The Goonie birds found us. In a tone laden with foreboding, Bacon portends, people are going to die this patrol. I just know it. Bodenheimer grimaces. You can't be serious. Aristotle cuts in and states like an encyclopedia. Actually, Goonie birds can either be a good sign or a bad sign. Bacon turns to them. You trying to tell me there's good Goonie birds and bad Goonie birds? And if so, how can you tell them apart? That's the whole point, you idiot. You don't, says Aristotle, tossing up the ham. They're just stupid birds. That's why they call them Goonie birds, or didn't you know that? Bacon frowns. Nah, never crossed my mind. Not much does, quips Bodenheimer. Just as well, says Aristotle. No sense getting boxed up in all that metaphysical mumbo-jumbo. It's just a diversion, lying crap to throw you off track and steer you down blind alleys that lead to nowhere. Bodie, the deep thinker, nods. He fully understands the nature of lies. Still looking back, Bodenheimer cups both hands over his brows like a visor as he watches the island of Oahu shrink into the distance until it fades from view. Crap. Well, that's it, boys. The last we see of tropical paradise. Wah. Quit your crying, man, says Bacon. Quit my crying, huh? What's the use crying? Bodenheimer lunges an aggressive step toward Bacon. Bacon scurries back and hides behind Aristotle. Bodenheimer pulls up short. Lame ass. Bacon pokes his head from behind Aristotle like sneaking a peek around a corner. Bodie sneers and huffs a laugh. You chicken. Aristotle puts a hand on Bodenheimer's shoulder. Don't you worry about tropical paradise, Bodie. You always have your tropical coffee, as long as Mac has his stash. Yeah, Bodie chimes in Bacon, still hiding behind Aristotle. Quit looking back, longing for paradise. We'll be at Midway in no time. You call that paradise? Says Bodie with a pinched expression. It's just an ugly lump of rock and coral. Aristotle smirks at Bacon and then says, laughing, Yeah, but it's Goonie bird heaven. He then pumps his brows at Bacon. Hey, enough with the Goonie bird crap, says Bacon with chin jutting. That's exactly what it is, says Bodie. It's an ugly lump of rock and coral, covered end to end with Goonie bird crap, like a great white carpet. Ooh, good one, Bodie, says Bacon. Nice pun, very clever. Bodie nods. You're right. Puns are cheap, at least I'm not a literal-minded dimwit like yourself. Besides, Salt Lick, you're the one looking back, longing for Sodom and Gomorrah. But, too bad for you. There are no hookers on Midway. Bacon grins. Easy now, big boy. Don't flip your wig. Yeah? At least I don't need one. Bacon smiles, drops into a scowl. Bodenheimer grins at the expression. Oh yeah, just pushes touchy button. Laughing, he puts an arm around Bacon's shoulder. Come on, Chrome Dome. Let's head down and get some brasso to shine up that big bald head of yours. Bacon grimaces and throws off Bodenheimer's arm. Lay off. The two climb down the hatch and descend into the bowels of Tang.